our new episode of Transforming with Jeremy and Ellie. I am Ellie Safarti.
I am Jeremy Reid.
And we are here today. Again, our fourth episode. So excited to have you. McDonald's on a diet.
Crazy.
Whoa. Is it? Yeah, McDonald's on a diet. So this is about making the best choices under the worst circumstances.
That's right.
And I come off a perfectly great trip from Las Vegas where I can tell you folks that it was the worst circumstances.
Does that happen to anyone else who goes to Vegas? Has anyone here gone to Vegas? And is it possible? I know there's people out there. I'm sure it's possible to stay strong in Vegas, but man, I'll tell you, I'm with you, Ellie. I have the hardest time staying strong in Vegas.
Man,
that is the one place.
It's you got alcohol everywhere. It's a party city. I was there for work, but you work hard, you play hard in Vegas, and you imbibe a little bit, and then all of a sudden, all the inhibitions, all that strength, all that focus, for eating. Luckily, I didn't make too bad of decisions, but it was a perfect week for me to be able to come here and share with you. And Jeremy's going to share with you. God knows he wasn't in Vegas this week, but he's been there plenty of times.
I've been there, and I'm going to be there in a few weeks. So yeah. Yeah,
and you don't have to be in Vegas to make to be under the worst circumstances. We're going to discuss all that. But before we get started, first of all, I want to welcome all the newcomers on here. If you're new to our show, welcome. It's so awesome to have you. If you're new to Blab, welcome. This is a great new platform. Want to tell you just a little bit about. I'm going to take 30 seconds to tell you a little bit about Blab and how you can help us reach the masses so that we can really bring our message. This is a free message. Jeremy and I volunteer our time to do this because we're so passionate about helping people reach their goals for a healthy lifestyle. So if you look down in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, you're going to see two little hands that go like whoop, whoop,
props.
Like this. Those are props. And when you click on those, you're letting us know that you're enjoying the show, first of all. And second of all, the more props that we get, the more that Blab will share our show with other people on Blab. So we really appreciate that. Second of all, I know we have two prizes to give away today. If you looked on our Facebook page and our Instagram, we have on the invitation, for instance, on the event, people who shared our show and our event link. We're going to be giving away just randomly picking out a winner. Last week's winner was a copy of my book. We never announced it, but we're going to announce the winner today. I believe Jeremy has it. And this week, you get a lucky winner gets a Jeremy Reid fitness T-shirt, which is really cool. I have one. That's right. Conquer today, baby. So let's get right down to business. McDonald's.
Wait, Ellie, can I interrupt for a second?
Absolutely.
Since we're on the topic, I want to announce that we went through the shares and Dreamer Girl 251. I'm pasting in her @ code right here. I don't know if she's online tonight, but we will contact her. I will contact her directly and get her contact information. But Dreamer Girl 251. Again, how we select the winners is we take all of the shares from our Facebook event that's created. So Facebook shares, the shares within Blab, we put all of the names in a hat, and my beautiful assistant randomly selects a name. Last week's winner of Ellie's book was Dreamer Girl 251.
Congratulations, Dreamer Girl 251. So cool. And I guess at the end of the show, you'll announce the winner for your T-shirt, right, Jeremy?
Yep.
Right. Awesome. So getting right down to business here, let me get back on track. So the idea here is we're going to share with you one of the things that helped Jeremy and I through our personal journeys make better choices. This is stuff that we learned through the many years that we've been doing this, and we want to share it with you. For instance, eating out, going to the movie theaters, going on vacation, all these kind of stuff, going to fast food restaurants even. Not that we definitely endorse that and not that we go there, but if you're ever caught in a position, even family restaurants, and we researched certain things for you that we're going to share with you today. And I'm going to hand it over to Jeremy. I know he did a lot of research and he's got a lot of information to share with you. I'm going to interject as we go on, and we're just going to get this rolling. Remember, at the end of this show, which is this ends at 9 p.m., so with about 10 or 15 minutes left, we're going to take your questions. Jeremy, do you want to tell them how to pose an official question on here?
Yes. So when you're in Blab, and this really helps because you can post questions at any time, and they're just going to collect on the left-hand side of the screen, and we will attack them at the end of the show, or whenever we feel like it. So in the comment box, you can do /Q, and then start your question, and that will actually pose that as a formal question to us. It's very different than just another comment in the comment box, because as we all know, those get lost and we'll never find those. But a formal question will then set that aside on the left-hand side, and Ellie and I can attack those when time permits. So moving on. This is a great topic. And you know what? I want to start out by saying, and I'm a huge advocate for this, for planning and prepping food, eating healthy, all of this stuff. But eating out is great, and it should be a part of our life. And we can't have food be this dark cloud above us that we're afraid of, or that we, really, really feel like it's just this negative thing in our life. We have to enjoy it. We have to enjoy going out and these things. But many of us have the opportunity to go out a lot more. And so when we do go out, we can't just go crazy every single time we go out to a restaurant. It can't be a, epic cheat meal every single time we go out to a restaurant. And so we have to be mindful of our decisions. Something that you need to understand is that restaurants are in the business of making food taste good. That is their number one objective. Is that right, Ellie?
That's absolutely right.
They could care less about your health and fitness goals. And so it's really up to you. It's up to you in order to know what you need to get to your goals. Plan ahead.
Educate yourselves.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you, I didn't do anything in preparation for this show. Ellie didn't do anything in preparation for this show that required a master's degree in nutrition. A lot of what I did was scouring different restaurants, many fast food restaurants, many popular nationwide chains, even worldwide chains, and just looked at their nutrition. Now, a lot of people aren't educated on macros and everything else, but that's why we're here. That's why we're doing these blabs, to educate you and start planting these seeds so that you get an idea. And when you're going out to eat and when you're planning ahead, you have just that much more knowledge to make the smartest decision when you're going out. And so, keeping in mind that regardless of how it's marketed, right? A lot of restaurants nowadays are jumping on the bandwagon of, all of these meals that have the little, lettuce leaf next to it is 500 calories or less, or 600 calories or less. But those aren't the only things on the menu that you can order from. I mean, if you educate yourself and also know where you're going for that day, for that meal, what you need for that meal, you can better be prepared to make a decision going forward. So keep that in mind, and know that at the end of the day, you are in control of what you put in your mouth. You are the one responsible for ordering your food and the decisions that you make. Right, Ellie?
100%, man. The idea here is, and I'm going to jump in with a few tricks. I call them tricks, and it's stuff that really helped me on my journey, especially at the beginning, the very beginning, when I wasn't completely focused, if you will. It wasn't a lifestyle for me yet. I was building a lifestyle. And as you all know, my one step at a time approach is about building a sustainable lifestyle. Sustainable, not something that we do today for the next 3 months. And then, we lost 50 pounds and we go right back to our stuff. This is stuff that I still use today many times. Okay. These tricks are so simple. I call them tricks for a lack of a better term, but they're tips, and they're so simple. Blonde 1975 actually stole my thunder. This was one of the first things that I do is I make sure if I go to a new restaurant that I don't know the menu, I will go online. You can go, listen, I don't know of any restaurant that doesn't have a menu online today. You go on, you research, go to their .com, and you can see their menu. Make sure to choose what you're going to eat before you get to the restaurant.
That's right.
Okay? We're not even talking about food yet. We're not talking about, we're going to get into nutritional facts, what you think may be healthy and all this stuff. Right now, we're just talking about before you even get to the restaurant, make sure you make the choice then. Because once you get there, okay, I can guarantee you that all kinds of stimuli will hit you. Smells in the restaurant, people being served certain things, and you're going to be like, oh, I was thinking of having the chicken, but I'm not sure. But if you square down into what exactly you're going to eat, specifically on the menu, not, I think I'll have their chicken dish. No. Find out what their chicken dish is, what the name of it is, and make sure that before you get there, that's the dish that you're going to order.
That's right. Peer pressure goes into a lot of this too. I know that there's many times where you could probably even have in your head like, oh yeah, I'm going to have the chicken or whatever. But then when everyone else at the table that you're with is ordering something crazy delicious, or, they're ordering beers and they're the triple cheeseburger and sometimes we allow ourselves to get influenced by those around us. Just like Ellie said, you're walking into the restaurant, you're smelling all the great food. The server passes by with the loaded potato skins or the chili cheese fries or whatever it is. Now I'm getting hungry. And if willpower or if self-control happens to be something that is maybe not your strong point at this time, exactly what, Blonde 1975 and what Ellie just said and what we've mentioned in previous blabs is look it up online. Make it your goal to not even have to open the menu. I mean, right. How awesome would that be, right? Have it in your head exactly what you're going to order, how you're going to order it, and don't even open the menu. Then it doesn't matter what's in there. You already have your mind set up. And then the only willpower that you need to have is making sure that when the server comes to the table, you've delivered the order that you set in there to get.
It's funny. You mentioned willpower, and people look at guys like you and me, Jeremy, and they say, man, I wish I had your willpower.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, man, but I don't have willpower. People say, oh yeah, come on, man. You couldn't have done do what you do today if you didn't have willpower. It's not willpower that I had. I got educated and I started implementing these tricks, if you will. This is what allowed me to build, if you want to call it willpower. I have an addictive personality. I didn't get to 300 pounds by not being addicted to food.
Right.
I used to smoke 2 packs of cigarettes a day too. So I have an addictive personality. So I promise you that willpower is not my strong suit. But preparation, yes, absolutely. I prepare now, and it helps me build that so-called willpower. Jeremy, I know that you have another trick that we discussed about not ordering what, and then I'm going to interject on a little bit on that as well. When you sit down at the table, what do you steer clear of? It was
I stay clear of the higher glycemic carbohydrates. Is that what you're talking about, Ellie?
That's right.
Okay.
And for those of us that don't know what higher glycemic carbohydrates are on the table of a restaurant, that would
this is going to be your breads, your pastas, excessive chips, the crazy football field sized tortillas that are at some of these Mexican restaurants. These things are definitely going to head you in the opposite direction of your goals, almost regardless of what your goals are. And there's so many better choices that we can do. And there's some tips that I want to give you as far as working around that. And so I love burgers just like the next person. In-N-Out Burger is one of my favorite burger joints ever. Anyone ever ate an In-N-Out burger? Type yes.
I haven't had the chance, man. I've been out.
Oh, man. All right. So yeah, there's a few people that know exactly what I'm talking about. In-N-Out, it is one of those places that it doesn't matter what time of the day you go in. The second they open to the second they close, the place is absolutely packed and you will be waiting in line. It's just one of those restaurants. Every single location is that way. It's crazy because it's very, very good. Now they do their burgers. You can order, In-N-Out's famous for having all these different wordings of how you can order it, but I like to get it protein style, and that's very common at a lot of different restaurants. And all it is your burger wrapped in lettuce. You don't even. I'm telling you, I'm not even a huge vegetable lover. It's not like I sit down and just eat Brussels sprouts for fun. But you won't even miss the bun. The meat of the burger is really the best part. It's wrapped in lettuce. You get a crunch. Everything is fantastic. And it's a way to literally cut out a crazy ton of calories and a ton of these higher glycemic carbohydrates, these processed items that it's processing in your body nearly at the rate of sugar. It really is. White wheat flour is a very, very fast carbohydrate, almost to the glycemic index of sugar. And it's one of those things you want to steer clear from. That and going to a restaurant and having the bread and butter on the table, having chips and salsa, these things that, yeah, they're meant, they're almost refillable, right? We go to another one of my favorites, and I'll tell you a story. Olive Garden. The breadsticks at Olive Garden are kind of like
crack.
Yeah, that's a good word. They're kind of like crack.
Not that I've ever tried crack, folks.
Yeah. And they're absolutely delicious. If you really want to go nuts, my wife and I used to go there, and you can order the Alfredo sauce, a dipping sauce for the breadsticks, which only makes it worse. I looked it up today. One breadstick is 140 calories. Now, I have been known to easily take down 4 or 5 or more of these in one sitting, in one meal. Meaning I literally was taking in, 700-800 calories, and that's not even including the Alfredo sauce, 800 calories just in bread before my meal came. This is extremely eye-opening, I'm sure, to many of you who've gone through this situation, been to a place like Olive Garden, or been to a place that, the bread and butter just keeps on flowing, or the chips and salsa just keep on flowing, and you don't even realize it, but you've taken in hundreds and hundreds of calories prior to your meal even coming to the table. And so these are the things that we really need to be mindful of, and just have our mind set up before we go there. If that makes sense.
Absolutely. And another thing, going back to before we even get to the restaurant, and I wanted to touch on that, because what is the bread, right? The bread and the chips, the nachos, if you go to a Mexican restaurant, chips and salsa, God, they're so good. But when is it that we absolutely just like kill the bread basket and kill the chips and salsa bowl? Especially when it's free, that you don't even have to order it. They just bring it to you. When is it that when we kill it? For me, it's when I get to the restaurant and I'm starving. There is nothing. We talked about willpower. Well, there is no willpower. It's like negative willpower. For me, if I get to somewhere that I'm hungry, I promise you, even at the stage that I'm in today, where I feel a very strong lifestyle in what I do, very difficult for me to pass on the bread if I get to the restaurant hungry. So
that's right.
What do? Sometimes I forget, or sometimes it's a difficult situation, but what do? Is I eat something before I go to the restaurant. I suggest it highly. You can have a tablespoon of peanut butter. You can have a low-fat stick of cheese. You can have some hummus with a couple pieces of carrots. This is not a meal, folks. This is just something to bring your blood sugar level up, to kind of ease that hunger pang in your stomach. Remember, if you're home, or if you're at a friend's house, or if you're at the mall, or wherever it is, by the time you're saying, "Oh, let's go eat at the California Pizza Kitchen," for instance, by the time you get there, right, 15, 20, 30 minutes, then you have to wait to be seated. Then the server comes and takes your order. You gotta figure this is going to take a good at least 30 minutes to 60 minutes before your food is served.
Easy.
So by this time, you may not be hungry when you left your house, but I can guarantee you
are now.
You are now. But if you eat a little something, okay, and again, I gave you some great tips. A tablespoon of peanut butter, that high-fat tablespoon, folks, not half a jar. A tablespoon of peanut butter, some hummus with a couple pieces of carrot, string cheese, low-fat string cheese. I don't know if you have any other suggestions, Jeremy.
I would stay away from again the higher glycemic, the fast thing. Stay away from the granola bars and go towards. I like the idea of maybe some rolled up lunch meat. Some meat and cheese roll ups or meat roll ups. Something very quick and easy. But again, it is not a meal. It's something just to hold you over for the possibly 30, 45, or 60 minutes that it may be before your meal comes. Again, in most places, you will have an opportunity to eat before your meal comes.
That's right.
The chips and salsa, the bread, the breadsticks, appetizers. You are going to have food in your face, but it's you being prepared so that you're not sitting there with your body just absolutely, screaming at you until your meal comes that you've planned out. Just be, it all comes down to planning.
I want you guys to try this out the next time you go out to eat, and let us know. Send us a message, email us. Let us know how it worked for you. If you've never done this, I promise you're going to be like, wow, what a difference. You know what they say about not going to to the grocery store, do grocery shopping hungry, it's basically the same thing. Okay.
Yeah.
You go to the grocery store shopping. I know we've all done it, right? And, we go in for $50 worth of groceries and we come out with $500 worth of stuff we would never in our lives buy.
That's right.
But if you don't go to the grocery store hungry, you can go in and, the cookie, you don't even go down the cookie aisle. Or if you do go down the cookie aisle, hey, it doesn't bother you. So that is one important tip before you go out. Another tip, when you're in the restaurant, before you order, as you're ordering your food, not before you order your food, ask the server to bring you a to-go box. Okay.
That's right.
You can even tell them, many restaurants will do it. Some of them won't. You can ask them to split your order in two. Please serve me half of the portion and the other half, just pack it to go. Many restaurants will do it. If they don't do it, they will at least bring you the to-go box and you can do it yourself. I promise you that most places today there's enough food on one serving for Jeremy and I to eat together, to share.
Yeah.
And we're big eaters, I promise you. If you split this up, okay, and you have it in a to-go box, if you don't, and you say, I'm only going to eat half, I guarantee you that you're going to keep picking at it because we're in a social environment. You're with your friends, with your families, with your wife, with your girlfriends, boyfriends, whatever, okay? And you could just keep picking. You may not even be hungry anymore. But if it's not in front of you, you're not going to go into that to-go box to pick the food.
Yeah.
99.9% guaranteed you will not go into that to-go box.
Right.
Now, what do you do with that to-go box? Take it home for lunch for the next day. Maybe, if that was lunch, maybe you'll have that other half for dinner. It's not going to go to waste, okay? A great way of saving a bunch of calories, okay, and of learning how to eat proper portions. You go to places like Cheesecake Factory. I know that there's a bunch of us that are all over the United States, and I don't know what restaurants are where. But the Cheesecake Factory down here in South Florida, my God, seriously, you can share many of those dishes with 3 people. That's how big the portions are. And unfortunately, in this country, it's all about the bigger the portions. My God, what a great deal! They give you 500
Look how much
pounds
food you get.
Right. It's horrible. Unfortunately, it's a marketing ploy, and but if we learn how to portion ourselves, and what I just told you about putting away half or even 3/4, depending on how big the portion is, put it in a to-go box, take it home for later that day or for the next day.
Yeah, Ellie, let me tell you a story real quick. I was when I first started getting really serious about my health and fitness journey, I worked for a collection agency. I worked in the IT department. I was a web developer there. And my hours were really weird, but we always were doing luncheons. They would either order it in. We'd have, we were in Southern California at the time. So you can get anything delivered there. They have restaurant delivery services and all this stuff. And literally every day we were going out ordering or the company was ordering in. And so food was readily available. But when I first started kind of getting my act together, you could say, I didn't even really have none of, some of the information we're going to give you. I didn't have that at the time, but I knew I needed to eat less, right? And I was looking at these portions that for years I was taking down that plus some on my own and going, I could eat half this and still be satisfied and all that. So I would do the exact thing. I would go and exactly what you're saying. I would box up half right away. I'd take the other half with me back to work. And I always worked out right after work. And so I would have the second half of my meal as my pre-workout meal before I went to the gym. And I started getting that habit every single day. I would do the exact same thing. And I'm telling you, you won't even miss the second half of that meal. And then it was kind of like this awesome little surprise a few hours later when I'm like, oh yeah, I have the second half of my meal. And I was able to dive in and again, just as satisfied.
You enjoyed it twice.
Exactly. But I was the type of guy for the previous 20 some years of my life. I was the type of guy that plate would have been clean no matter what, no matter how much food was on that plate. I would have cleaned that plate, from start to finish. And so this way, if you do it right in the beginning, and like Ellie said, if they're not willing to do it for you or it's not the style of restaurant that they can do that, then just ask for a to-go container right away. And that's the first thing you do. Before you take your first bite, separate it into half, put it away, out of sight, out of mind, and then feel free to finish your plate, right? We all kind of grow with, I don't know if it's a generational thing or what, but we're kind of grown up in this, like, hey, finish your plate, eat your food, all this stuff, clean your plate. And so you get to do that. Eat it all, right? Eat all the food that's on your plate, but you've already taken care of business in the fact of separating half of it for later.
And what you'll notice is that you'll be satisfied. You'll be like, wow, you know what? Just last week I had the same meal and I ate the entire thing and I felt satisfied. I just ate half of it and I feel just as satisfied. It really is a mental thing. It really is. We really don't need that much food, but if it's in front of us, we're going to pick at it. I mentioned California Pizza Kitchen, and I want to pose a question to our viewers, Jeremy.
Yeah.
California Pizza Kitchen, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with it or not, and if you're not, it doesn't matter for the question that I'm going to pose. But do you think a Hawaiian pizza or a salad is a better choice at a place like California Pizza Kitchen? So I'll give you a few seconds to type in salad or pizza. What do you think? Don't analyze it. Just what do you think?
Salad, of course. I would guess that everyone's going to say salad, right? I would. I mean, Right.
Yeah, some people are saying pizza. I think they're just like, maybe they know. Maybe they know
it's a trick question.
They know it's a trick question, or they know what I'm about to tell them. So
salad for shizzle.
For shizzle, that's right. Let me tell you, I'm going to blow your minds because my mind was blown. I love this salad. Pizza is my kryptonite. So there's a lot of things that I can eat a little bit of and not binge on. Okay. I can have a couple of fries and be satisfied. I can have a bite of my kid's burger and be satisfied. I don't know, many, many different things. I can have a bite of cheesecake or chocolate cake or whatever and be satisfied. I cannot take a bite of pizza and not want to eat the entire pie.
Right.
So I steer clear of pizza. Okay. I eat pizza maybe once a year, maybe.
Wow.
So I go to a place like California Pizza Kitchen because guess what? I don't live by myself. I have a wife, I have children, and it's not fair. So I go to places that they like and I make the best choices for myself. So California Pizza Kitchen, I'm not going to eat the pizza. I ordered this Moroccan spice salad. It is so delicious. And it has dates and raisins and it has avocado and it has all of these different, it's just delicious salad.
This is the same one you mentioned a couple blabs ago, right? Did you mention this salad?
I might have. I don't remember.
No, this is a good story. Keep going. I'm sorry.
So I never bothered to check the nutritional contents of it. It's a salad. It has really healthy stuff. Even the dressing, I ordered the dressing on the side. By the way, that's another tip we'll get to. So let me blow your mind. I'm going to read it so I don't make a mistake. Just going to pull it out right here. Hand-tossed Hawaiian pizza
Delicious.
And this is directly from the California Pizza Kitchen Nutritional Facts off their website, okay, is the hand-tossed Hawaiian pizza is 1,000 calories, 1,070 calories to be exact. Hawaiian pizza, the entire thing. A total fat of 27 grams, okay, and let me see, the total carbohydrates are 145 grams with 64 grams of protein. That's your pizza, okay? So you would think the salad is better, right? Drum roll, please. Thank you, Jeremy. Calories on the Moroccan spice chicken salad, right? Healthy.
Right. Yeah.
1,500, 1,500. For those of you that speak Spanish, 1,500. Anywhere, any language you say it, it's 1,500 calories for a salad. 99 grams of fat.
Oh my God.
Okay. And 128 grams of carbohydrates.
From where?
Not to mention 80 grams of sugar.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. The pizza, which is Hawaiian pizza, which comes with pineapple sugar, right? Only has 16 grams of sugar. So right. I'm not bashing the Moroccan spice chicken salad. It's freaking delicious. If you have a cheat meal, go out and try it. Okay. It's good stuff, or split it with your significant other or with friends. The point I'm trying to make is that sometimes, or a lot of times, or most of the time, if we don't educate ourselves, if we don't go out and get this information, we are totally lost. We think we just had you know what? I did so well. I didn't have the pizza. I had the Moroccan spice salad. Man, I made the best choice. Guess what? You missed out on, in my case, I missed out on my favorite food. And I just had, 500 calories more and I felt like I was sacrificing just a little bit. because I really wanted the pizza. Okay. That is one food that I'm talking about. And I'll mention another one, but I know Jeremy has some that he wants to share with us also. So by all means, Jeremy, please blow our minds.
I don't have any crazy comparisons to like specific comparisons like you do. I do have a story, and it wouldn't take a rocket scientist to know that this is going to turn you into a 300 and some odd pound man. But for years, in fact, it was during the time when my wife was pregnant, and I don't know if you've watched previous blabs or seen my videos or heard me talk. I gained more weight during my wife's pregnancy than she did. Like literally, like. I'm not just joking. I literally gained more weight during the pregnancy of our son than she did. And looking back, it's no secret on why I did this. I was working at Circuit City at the time, selling computers, and so did my husband, Sterling. That's right. It's easy to do, and I've met several men that fell in the same category. But I worked at Circuit City at the time, selling computers every single day, 5 to 6 days a week, every day. I was going down to the McDonald's inside of the Walmart. That was down in the same place where Circuit City was. And I would get the double quarter pounder meal, supersized with a Coke. And it's literally thousands of calories. It's not even, it's ridiculous. And so it's no wonder how fast it adds up. And these things can happen when we don't take the time to just kind of educate ourselves a little bit. That's kind of the whole point of us doing these things, is just to educate you a little bit. Now, I went through and I looked up a lot of stuff. I went primarily to fast food restaurants just because that's easy, right? You're on the go, quick. What are we getting? You didn't plan ahead. You don't have your meals with you. You're on the road. You're taking a road trip, whatever it may be. We are going somewhere quick. And I found some great ideas and things to eat when you're on the go. One of our favorite places to eat is Panda Express. Anyone else like Panda Express? Anybody?
Never been.
No, really?
Nope.
Oh, man. All right. Love it. Exactly. They have the grilled teriyaki chicken. Now, a lot of their other protein sources is essentially battered and wok fried and it's slathered in a sugary sauce. I don't recommend it. I know the orange chicken is absolutely to die for, but their grilled teriyaki chicken, you actually, out of every single item on their menu, this has the least amount of fat, I believe, but the most amount of protein per serving is the grilled teriyaki chicken. 13 grams of fat, 8 grams of carbohydrates, 36 grams of protein for their 6-ounce serving. Not bad at all at 300 calories. You could certainly do a ton worse. The orange chicken is an example of being tons worse. Pickup sticks is another, especially down here in Southern California. There's a ton. I've seen them in other places of the United States at least. It's similar to a Panda Express, except it's not pre-made. They make it to order. Really good stuff. They have a similar grilled bourbon chicken, and I want to tell you a story about this. But another really decent choice at 310 calories. It's decent, and you can get brown rice at both these places, and you can get steamed vegetables at both these places. It's possible to go out and have a decent meal at these places. Now, I will tell you, and here's a trick that I've been implementing for a long, long time, and it is a great way to cut down on added, excessive carbs and fats that come in sauces a lot of times, especially at Asian restaurants and stuff. Pickup sticks, and again, could go for anything. They have their house special chicken, which is to die for. If you've ever had it, it's unbelievable. But if you look at the nutrition, it's not fried, it's not battered and fried. It's just, real cut up chicken. But the sauce it's in, when you get it, it is literally swimming in sauce. I mean, the sauce is filling 3/4 of the container that it comes in, and you're just scooping this sugary sauce in your stuff. So I ask them every single time I go in, really light sauce, just very, very light on the sauce. And what happens is I get the same exact thing. We've tried it now. It has no effect on flavor. The flavor is still fantastic on it. But just estimating it based on what you're seeing in the container, it has to cut out, I'm sure, 3/4 of the amount of sugar that you're getting and the fat that's in that sauce, because you're not getting any of this excess sauce. It's all whatever's just touching the chicken. And that can be used for a lot of different things. Getting your dressings on the side with your salads. Asking for real light sauce or no sauce on some things, skipping the mayo. These types of things can make huge, huge differences when you're ordering in the form of literally 100 or more calories just in one serving. Huge.
It's insane.
I mean, yeah, looking at some of these places that slather on 100, 200 calories worth of mayonnaise on your salad, learn to switch to mustard. It's 5 calories, or finding other alternatives that will suit that need, whatever the mayonnaise does for you. But it's just, when you're going out, it can literally make or break that meal.
Well, it's
right,
also about getting used to stuff. I don't suggest, and I think Jeremy will agree with me, that it's, don't go tomorrow. If you're used to having, extra mayonnaise on your sub at the hoagie shop, don't go and say, I don't want any mayonnaise, because you know what? You're going to hate your sandwich.
Right.
You're going to end up going right back to the extra mayonnaise. Okay. You may do it once, twice, 3 times, but it's about weaning off of this stuff. So, if you slather on this extra mayonnaise on both sides of the bread, for example, just do 1/2 of the bread for this week. The following week, say, put just a little light mayonnaise until you can actually come off of it, maybe put mustard or what have you. This is one of many examples. Jeremy mentions about getting light sauce. He mentions a few restaurants, Panda Express, we have it down here in South Florida, Pickup Sticks, never heard of. But where I do go, and I happen to go quite often, is Payway. Payway is the fast food of P.F. Chang's. Okay, it's basically the same menu, but you order in a line, and it's not a nice sit down. Yeah, so Payway, my go-to at Payway is the ginger broccoli. Okay, and you ask for the chicken stock velvet. Stock velvet means that it's just boiled chicken. I know it sounds disgusting. I don't expect you to eat it just like that. Ask the sauce on the side, dry chicken, stock velvet, so that they don't bread it or anything like that. Sauce on the side, get it with some brown rice. It's a very big portion of brown rice, so I suggest eating, maybe half of it is the right portion there. You can eat the entire chicken. Sometimes I ask for extra chicken. You can eat all of the broccoli. So instead of having the light sauce, you control the sauce that you put on it. So I take, a piece of chicken and I dip it in the sauce, shake it off, and it's the exact same taste. The exact same taste. You have the sauce on the chicken, but it's not like sitting there slathered on your broccoli, on your chicken, then, dripping into your rice. So when you're eating your rice, you're having sauce also. It makes such a huge difference, and it's not going to make a difference to you enjoying your meal. So you're able to go to these places that are your favorite places, but find the little alternatives to what you can do. And all of this stuff adds up. I mean, it's insane.
Ellie, what was that called that you ordered? You had a wording for it. You say
ginger broccoli, stock velvet. Stock velvet. Yeah, that's it. In other words, it's just boiled chicken. It's not breaded. It's not dusted. It's not fried. It's not sautéed. It's just plain chicken. It's just plain chicken. Yeah. Order the sauce on the side, and you can order any sauce. I order the ginger broccoli, but when you go to a place like this, you can actually say, listen, I just want stock velvet chicken with whatever vegetables with such sauce on the side. You pick your sauce, and you dip and shake and eat, and you'll see it. You're going to enjoy just as much, and you're going to save hundreds of calories. And when you add this stuff up throughout the year, it's thousands and thousands. Forget calories, fat grams, sugar grams. It's insane. Okay. And you're still enjoying your stuff. The ginger broccoli, I printed it out here just to give you an idea. It's 300 calories with 31 grams of carbs. 31 grams of protein and 19 grams of carb. And you can get that with the brown rice. The brown rice is 170 calories, a half serving. So the entire thing with the broccoli and the brown rice together, half a serving of the brown rice is 470 calories. Okay. If you got the Payway chicken salad, Payway spicy chicken salad, okay, a half serving of that is 350 calories. And it has 16 grams of fat, where the ginger broccoli with the brown rice is about 10.5 grams of fat. So again, salad versus, real serious meal, a solid meal. Again, guys, think twice before ordering a salad. Get educated. I'm not saying that salads aren't good, but you really have to make sure. It's like soups. It's a lot of hidden ingredients that we don't know. Even Jeremy and I just don't know. We don't know. If we're not making it, we have no idea what's going in there. And there's so many hidden ingredients that are so incredibly high caloric, high fat content, high sugar content. Get educated, and you'll see. We just gave you a few few examples, but there's hundreds, if not thousands of examples in every single restaurant worldwide. So, there you have it. Payway, California Pizza Kitchen, Pickup Sticks, Panda Express. We're just giving you a few examples. I don't know if Jeremy, if you have any other examples.
I've got a couple more. And Renee Hild here says, what's the best option at McDonald's? I didn't actually document this to talk about today. For some reason, I don't know. I stayed a little bit away from McDonald's, but I did look some stuff up. Their grilled chicken sandwich, if you don't get cheese on it, you don't get mayo on it, get extra lettuce, extra tomato, and just make a meal out of the sandwich itself. It's actually pretty decent. It's not that bad. The bread obviously is going to be very, very high glycemic. Your high glycemic carbs. The grilled chicken, not the breaded fried chicken, but the grilled chicken. It's really not that bad, and that's your best bet. Obviously, I think it goes without speaking to say you probably shouldn't order the fries with it, and these types of things if you're looking to really get after your goals aggressively. But the grilled chicken sandwich is your best bet. Taco Bell. I'm a huge fan of Taco Bell. I don't go there often, but they have a fresco shredded chicken taco, which is 140 calories, 3.5 grams of fat, very, very low in fat. It's shredded white meat chicken, 16 grams of carbs from the tortilla, and 10 grams of protein. And, there's something else I wanted to go into too is, and we kind of talked about this, trying to eat your burger with maybe just the bottom bun, taking off the half bun, kind of making some of these, we've all had the hot dog where there's like an inch of bun on each side of the hot dog. And some people they eat it anyway, right? The Subway sandwich that, again, they didn't put the meat all the way to the end of the bread. There's just a half an inch or an inch of bread on each side. Some of these things are easily avoidable if you just don't eat it. Rip it off or move, like the chicken soft taco. If staying away from these higher glycemic carbohydrates, like from the tortilla, is something that you want to do, scoot everything to one side and rip off. You can easily rip off a quarter of that tortilla because that's just there's not much stuff in there.
Even you mentioned a sub sandwich. If you ask them to scoop the bread, any sub place that you go and say, I want the foot long or the 6-inch or whatever, such and such bread, whole wheat or, 9 grain or whatever it is, even the white, say scoop the bread. So what they'll do is they'll take out, the center of the bread. And I'll tell you, you're saving hundreds of grams of carbohydrate. Okay. Forget calories, just the carbs, the high glycemic, which is, again, the bread. You ask them to scoop it out. You're not even going to notice. You're still having your sub,
That's right.
Fill it up with meat, with veggies and stuff like that. These are little tricks, every time I have a sub, I ask for the bread scooped. My kids nowadays, they know, just scoop it out. Even a bagel, if you're going to have a bagel for breakfast somewhere, ask them to scoop the bagel. You can still enjoy these things. Again, I don't have this every day. I don't have these every week. And I don't suggest people, if you're on a weight loss journey, monitor this. But what this episode is about making good choices, in the worst circumstances, places like a Dunkin' Donuts, you're going to grab a bagel, or a bagel shop, Einstein's Bagel or whatever, ask for it scooped, and you can still enjoy your favorite foods. Yep.
My very own hottie with a body, Debbie Reid, has chimed in with a couple different things. I'm trusting her here, but I believe I looked these stuff up too. The Southwestern grilled chicken salad at McDonald's. Obviously getting the dressing, I believe the dressings come on the side anyway, but using the dressings are really going to make a huge difference here in what you're using. But the Southwestern grilled chicken salad at McDonald's, she's also recommending the chili, either light or no cheese at Wendy's is also Chili's a decent option.
Chili at Wendy's is actually a great option. I actually recommend it to clients when they're on the go. I don't have the actual information, but it's really high in protein. Low in fat, and it's nice and filling. It has beans and the meat. It's a better choice. It's a better choice.
That's right.
And if I can just mention, speaking about chili, because Tanya Grove asked a question here. She says, "You mentioned sugar and calories. Do you monitor sodium?" Yes, I usually do monitor sodium, but unfortunately, when you're eating out, sodium is very difficult. You will never find a place that has low sodium stuff. It just, especially in restaurants, because it's either high in fat, high in sugar, and definitely high in sodium. It's what makes things taste good. Okay. I go back to Pei Wei. If you have the chicken by itself and don't dip it in that sauce, it's plain chicken. Doesn't taste very good. That sauce, extremely high in sodium. There's really no getting away from it. The only thing that you can do to get away from having high sodium is eat at home and cook your own food, period. Yeah. So here we're talking about being able to go out. The sodium in the chili is very high. I remember checking that out. I don't know the exact numbers, but again, this is about making the better choice. We can't make the best choice out of everything. We can't have, low fat, low carbs, low sodium, low sugar. We're going to have high something, unfortunately. So.
Yeah. And I want to chime in for those that weren't here in the beginning to catch kind of this blanket statement that I put out. And I'm speaking for myself here in the information I've given. I have clients that I know are watching this live. I'm in no way saying that these are like, hey, you can eat these for every meal every day and you're going to get to your goals. I'm not, I'm putting this out on, a Taco Bell and McDonald's. I'm not condoning you going to McDonald's and eating this stuff. Again, the topic was to inform you and say, making the best decisions in the worst circumstances. So in situations where, eating something is better than eating nothing. In situations where you can't pick the environment, but you're having to go and eat and choose something there. That's what it's for. I certainly don't want my clients that are sitting on here going, oh no, this is totally to the JRF plan. You can eat this every day, all day. No, that's not what I'm saying. And I do want to chime in on the sodium thing here too. Because I get this question a lot from clients, and unless you've been diagnosed with high blood pressure and you've been strictly told to go on a low sodium diet, I tell my clients, don't worry about it. Because most of the time, I would recommend that you do have control over the foods you cook. You do have control over the sodium and the salt that you're adding to your foods that you cook at home. And so for the most part, 95% of the time, your sodium is very controlled. These once in a while times where you're going and making, again, the best decision under the worst circumstance, an influx of sodium in one meal is not that big of a deal, especially if your sodium's controlled in all the other meals out there. You're drinking plenty of water during the day. You're getting adequate exercise and sweating a lot. Your body is going to normalize absolutely no problem. Now, if you've been diagnosed with high blood pressure or you've been notified by your doctor to stay on a low sodium diet, then obviously, you'd want to take the sodium seriously and keep these things in mind when you are ordering.
Which means don't go out to eat, honestly, because sodium is probably the only thing that you cannot steer clear from when you go out to eat. Seriously, I mean, you can order low sugar. You can order something that's low fat. Unfortunately, just the salt is what makes things taste good. If you pick up anything at the grocery store, look at the sodium content. It's usually, really high because it's buy something that's low sodium. It tastes like crap. Yeah. It does. But if you make it at home, it doesn't, because there's a bunch of other spices that you can add to it and make it taste good. So, Jeremy, I wanted to mention one other thing. We speak about going out to eat, okay? But there's something else that many of us love to do. I know I love to go to the movies with my kids.
Yes.
There's one thing about going to the movies that's not just watching the movie. It's
popcorn and snacks.
Man, it's noshing,
Yeah.
Snacking. You have to have that little bit of snack. My go-to snack for years, was, man, it's just popcorn.
That's right.
Okay? And I would have a medium-sized bag of popcorn all to myself. Again, no butter, just straight from the popping machine or whatever. It's just popcorn, right? It's, again, high sodium, whatever, but it's just popcorn. It's not just popcorn. If I told you, I'm going to blow your mind again. Drum roll, please. A medium popcorn. Hold on. Thank you, Jeremy. This is directly taken. The source here is Center for Science in the Public Interest, and they do all of these studies on different places. Popcorn at Regal Cinema, and I say Regal Cinema because, believe it or not, the different movie theaters have different caloric and nutritional facts for their popcorn. So I didn't want to bog you all down, so I took the middle of the road. Popcorn at Regal Cinema. They say budget 670 calories for a small and up to and up to 1,200 calories for a medium or large. Okay, so here is a medium bag of popcorn without any butter at Regal Cinema is 760 calories, 44 grams of fat without the butter, okay? And 81 grams of carbs, 0 protein, okay? 44 grams of fat and 760 calories in one bag of popcorn, where for years I thought it was the healthy snack, the way to go. Today, what I do is a couple of things. I smuggle stuff into the movie theater now. Okay.
Oh, heck yeah.
I take Ziploc bags of almonds or cashews. Another thing that I do is I take rice cakes, just plain rice cakes, maybe a little lightly salted, put them in Ziploc bags and crush them, and then you have kind of like popcorn with, I promise you, I think each little rice cake has maybe 35 calories each. So you can put in a bunch of those and you're still not even close to half of the calories.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say the rice cakes taste as good as the popcorn. They don't. But I prefer to have a burger than to have a bag of popcorn. I don't know about you.
Well, the stats you just gave, it would be a better decision for you to smuggle in an entire California Pizza Kitchen Hawaiian pizza than it would be to get the medium popcorn. Excuse me, sir. Is that a pizza in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?
Yeah, it's it's the way I roll, man. Pizza in my pocket, right. Thing, But again, personally, I would, and I think that most of us would prefer to enjoy a solid meal, a real meal, instead of having, a bag of popcorn and saying, man, God, I really knocked out this weekend, went off the track. I mean, that's really going off track. Yeah. So I don't know how many of you on here knew the stats of popcorn. If you were surprised, just type in surprised.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering how many of you knew of it or not. Were you surprised or not?
What I've done many times is I will either just like Drizzled Legacy, that's an awesome name. Eat before you go is what she said. And yeah, I've done that many, many times, having a meal right before the theater or the movie, knowing that realistically you got a couple hour movie, you've got previews, you've got driving, it's going to be 3 hours by the time I eat again. Either that, or I will smuggle in some healthier snacks. I love your idea of the rice cakes. When I'm trying to go a little bit lower carb, I'll smuggle in some beef jerky. I'll smuggle in some of those ready to drink protein shakes, sip on that. It's a fantastic way if you like the munching while you're watching a movie, some beef jerky, some nuts, a small amount, which also is great because it allows you to then pre-portion it out before you go. You won't overeat. You know what you're taking in. Eat all of it because you already pre-portioned it out. Enjoy your food over the course of the movie. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy the movie. And you didn't just suck down 1,400 calories.
You can even buy some dark chocolate or for God's sakes, you can even buy some M&Ms if it's really your thing, but portion it out. Read what a serving is. Read, and eat half of a serving. Put it together with a few nuts in a little Ziploc bag. And again, this is about not doing this all of the time. We're not condoning this if you're looking to, stay fit. Especially if you're looking to lose a significant amount of weight. We're not condoning this. This is definitely not going to help you. But what we're trying to teach you here is that you still can enjoy, on occasion, some of your favorite foods without feeling that you are deprived.
Yeah.
These are just a little bit of alternatives to these things.
Not long ago, I was on a client call with a woman. She's from Canada, and she was kind of sad. And she said, my friends are going to go see a movie this weekend, and I'm just like, I told them no, I couldn't go, and I was like, well, why? And she said, because they always get snacks, and they smuggle in candy, and there's popcorn, and I don't know. I know it's not good for me. And I about reached through the phone all the way into Canada, and I was like, are you kidding me? And I got all excited to share with her exactly the same things that we just said. Look, you can still go to this movie, even if it's over the course of your meal, and make this work. And you can eat through the movie, enjoy the movie, go out and have a great time. This whole losing weight and getting your life together and getting your act together does not have to stop you from being social. It doesn't have to stop you from having friends. It doesn't have to stop you from going and seeing the newest Star Wars. It just means that in many scenarios, especially if we've lived decades of bad behavior before, we have to plan ahead. We have to start thinking about our routines and our life and what are we going to do in the next 3 hours and plan ahead. And then we can go
and be honest with ourselves.
That's right.
Really be honest with ourselves. Oh, but I portioned it out. But I portioned it out on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday, and I had M&Ms each of these days portioned out. That's not going to work. This is, again, what we speak here is the exception and not the rule. It's very important that you take away that this is the exception and not the rule.
Right.
Jeremy and I, for instance, don't eat out all of the time.
No.
So, when this is over tonight in a few minutes, I'm going to prep my meals for the week. Will I eat out during the weekend? Yes, possibly 1 or 2 meals for sure. I'm not sure of the name of the person that asked the question. They asked, what about a glass of wine? They asked the question way before when we were speaking.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Something about a glass of wine or a glass of beer. I'm not a beer drinker, but I am a wine drinker. And you know what? Again, it's all about moderation. I love wine. I don't have wine all week long. But guess what? On Sundays during Transforming with Jeremy and Ellie, cheers, folks. Cheers. Again, half a glass of wine. Jeremy, I don't know how you feel about that. Personally, I know you like to drink, man. We went out in Vegas together.
I like to drink in Vegas.
Yeah.
I take many of my clients where they're at right now. I'll straight up ask them. I mean, hey, I've had a client. In fact, he might be on this right now. That he was drinking every night for years before working with me. He's no longer drinking after we've been working together for a little while now. But it was one of those things where I had to ask him straight up. Is this a need in your life, right? You've been doing something every night for years. Where are we at with this? Let's get real. But it's one of those things where, yeah, everything in moderation is fine and it's healthy and it's normal. When we start to rely on this stuff, it becomes kind of a totally different issue than what we're going to talk about in this blab. With that in mind, we have 4 minutes left. And so congratulations, K Daniels 68. I'll interrupt my thought process to say congratulations on, hey, taking the test on Friday, personal trainer. That's awesome. I love going after your goals.
Nice.
When you're diving into helping other people. And that's what a personal trainer does, right? You're turning your love and passion of helping other people in their fitness journey into a career. And that's fantastic. Love it. With that in mind, we've got 3 to 4 minutes left. Let's get some questions rolling. I know we've had a few that might not have been answered. If they didn't, make sure to type.
Remind people how to ask a question.
/Q. Do /Q in the when you're sending a message in the chat box on the right. Do /Q and then start typing your question, and that'll pose it as a formal question that we can see. Any questions whatsoever? Did you guys have a good night? Did you learn something? Did you have a good time? Let's get something. Yes, good, Bobby G. You're so welcome, man. We've got Ellie. Why don't you talk about the topic for next week's blab? We've got a good one coming in.
Next week's topic is titled, "You're not fat even if you're 100 pounds overweight." Would you believe me if I told you that you're not fat even if you're 100 pounds overweight? Yes? No? Maybe? You'll have to tune in till next week. This is the mental part of this game. We're going to talk a little bit about, or a lot of bit about, the mental part of this entire journey. These last few episodes, we've spoken about very specifics on nutrition, specifically nutrition, on how to take the first step, on tips on how to go out to eat, et cetera, et cetera. Next week, we're going to talk a little bit about the psychology of it. Jeremy and I are not psychologists. We're not doctors. We're not therapists. We are 2 guys that have gone through some major changes in our lives within the last 8 to 10 years, have sustained it. We're both certified personal trainers, but we've also learned a lot of things on our own that we don't have certificates for. And this is our opinions and what has worked for us and the different things that we've had to deal with, challenges that we've had to deal with that I'm sure that many of you, if not most of you, will be able to relate to when we speak about them next week. So you're not fat, even if you're 100 pounds overweight. The mental part of the game, next Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. Pacific, Jeremy and I, transforming. Please invite your friends.
Yeah.
Send those invitations out. We're going to pick your names. We could tell when your names are dropped into somewhere, I don't know where, and we can see that you sent out invitations and that you shared this on your Facebook page, on your Twitter, and we're going to take those names, put them in a hat, and every week we're going to be giving away prizes. Last week, the winner was a copy of my book. This week, Jeremy is Jeremy's awesome T-shirt. Show him that T-shirt again, Jeremy. Conquer today, baby.
I will ship it anywhere in the world you are. And we've got some international. I've seen a few. Yeah, we've got a few international people. I've seen several pop up that they've come and gone over the course of the episode. Anywhere in the world you are, I'm going to ship you a shirt. We are going to announce that tomorrow or next week. I'm sorry, next week. I actually like this. I think what we'll do is we're going to announce the winner from the previous week and the following week, which means that you should show up to claim your prize.
That's right.
We do have a couple questions. We are going to go a minute or two over. Tanya Grove. No, I'm sorry. Alma Adamson. What about desserts? Ellie nor I did any specific if you're going to pick dessert, pick this one. But it goes in line just like what we were saying with alcohol. Everything within reason. Can we say that you should go to some place and get the 6-layer chocolate cake and eat it all on your own? No.
Yes. Oh, no. I'm sorry. No.
Everything within reason. Are you going to share it with a party of 12? Sure. There are a lot of restaurants that happen to be known for their desserts. They're huge. They're meant for sharing, even if they're not advertised that way. I mean, you can easily rack up 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 calories in desserts from some of these places. So you really need to go in and, again, plan it out. I'm not going to sit here and say that you should eat dessert every time you go out to eat, every meal. It's got to be something with you. Just like I'm not going to tell you should have a glass of wine every time you go out to eat. It's got to be something that you are in control of, and your lifestyle and the choices you make and how you fit that in with your goals. But absolutely, I mean, everyone loves a dessert from time to time. Some of us more than others, but it's whatever you're in control with. There's another question. What do you feel about intermittent fasting? Rocco Steady, if I'm pronouncing that right. Ellie, do you have any opinions on intermittent fasting, or do you want me to take it?
No, you can take it. It's just, okay. You can take it.
Okay. Personally, I'm not a fan of intermittent fasting, and here's why. There's tons of research on both sides of the equation. You'll find the IF guys telling you, oh, there's tons of health benefits. You're going to find the other guys going, no, what are you doing? You're starving yourself. And so it's really more about what you can handle and what you can't. Personally, I think that intermittent fasting opens up the gateway to a dangerous behavior with food. When you have starved yourself for 12 hours, 16 hours, 20 hours, 24 hours, it's just like we just talked about going out to a restaurant hungry. And that's not even after not eating for 12 hours. It's after not eating for 5 hours. You're more likely to make bad decisions. And so if you're not eating for 12 hours, 16 hours of the day, you're more likely to just go, screw it. It's time to eat. I'm going to eat everything under the sun. The people that have had success that I've seen have success with intermittent fasting are the ones with, we call it self-control, call it whatever you want. It's the people that are die hard and had their meals planned out. This is exactly what they're eating, only what they're eating. And the people that I've seen that have been successful with it, to be honest with you, are very, very deep into bodybuilding and fitness. And they are, without a doubt, drug users as well, which could go into play on, keeping their body more anabolic and all this stuff. I'm not going to go into that. I am not a big fan of intermittent fasting. I have
definitely not something for anybody in beginning or intermediate stages. That's for sure.
Heck no. And even anyone, I don't care who you are. I don't know too many, I don't know if any of the top fitness guys, I don't know any of my fitness friends. I don't know any of them that are doing intermittent fasting. I think it's one of these fads that a couple of these big name, internet or social media people jumped on. Couple books were written, a couple blog posts were written, and here it is being this thing that people are interested in. But honestly, feed your body. The only way
and feed your mind, and that's what we're going to talk about next week.
That's right.
You're not fat, even if you're 100 pounds overweight. The mental side of this game. Jeremy and I thank you all. We could stay on here for another hour, but we can't.
That's right.
Thank you so much for joining us. Please tell your friends. We hope you're enjoying this. please send us messages, email us on Facebook. Let us know what you want us to talk about. Let us know what you're thinking about these episodes. Give us some show ideas. We'll definitely take them into consideration. This is for you, okay? And we're here to serve you, and we look forward to seeing you again next week, Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Thanks again, Jeremy. Nice seeing you again, buddy.
Yeah.
I'll see you next time.
All right. Good night, guys.
Good night. Peace.